Rail lines have always been a contentious topic in Regina and Saskatoon, but even more so after the train derailment near Guernsey last week. Something that came to mind was a rail relocation possible project out of Regina, and I thought getting some reaction from Regina's mayor would be a good thing. He joins me now. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
When you first heard about that train derailment near Guernsey, what was your initial reaction?
Well, you always think of what would happen in your community. You always think about, thank heavens it wasn't in the middle of a city where there's lots of people that are living, so that was good, but also the damage, the fire, the amount of oil spill was really significant. You just think, this is, glad it's in a remote area, not in the city somewhere like Regina.
I remember after the Lac-Mégantic disaster, we had many conversations about what's in rail cars. Is that something you still think about?
Always, and again, I think about Lac-Mégantic too. We all do, because we have lots of material going through our city all the time. And you always think about, are we safe? What's in the material? If there is an accident, how do we respond to that? And of course, we have a very robust emergency measures organization that looks after the city. But at the same time, you're always wondering what could happen.
So what's your relationship been like with CP and CN, and has it changed at all over the years?
Well, we had that runaway cart about 3 years ago that really prompted a conversation, starting with the head of CN and CP about what exactly happens in cities. And that's been a good icebreaker for conversations. Now we're looking at moving some rail lines possibly off of Ring Road, having those lines go to the north of the city, outside the city, and that's prompted a good working relationship. But we still have to do a lot of work because we don't regulate those rail lines. They're regulated by Transport Canada. They don't report to cities. And so it really is a goodwill and making some progress in that regard that's important.
Where does that project sit, that rail relocation possible project?
Well, Council decided rather than have the ring road go above or below the rail lines, we're going to remove those lines. That seems to be the case. So we have a feasibility study going now to actually see what the design would look like. And that's important. So we're spending this year looking at what the design looks like, the costing of it, and working with CN and CP about how they feel about it as well.
And do we have a timeline on when you might even have an idea for what the future could look like?
I think next year, in 2020, we should have some kind of a design, then the actual costing of that as well.
When it comes to trains running through Saskatchewan cities and towns, would it be best if they went around major centers?
That would be the optimal. That would be the best. But of course, to remove all the lines out of Regina would be well over $1 billion. And who pays for that? When does it happen? And it would be difficult to do. So what you want to do is minimize the risk as they go through the city. And I know our officials work with Transport Canada, work with the rail lines to minimize that. Knowing in advance what materials they're carrying with them, it would be important. We don't always know that. But we do have a really strong organization that will deal with issues as they come up.
Thanks so much for this.
Thank you.